Welcome to HortTube. My name is Jim Putnam, and today I'm going to be planting this 10-gallon Bloodgood Japanese maple. I've got clay soils and I've already dug this hole out. I actually stuck the plant in the ground in the container just to see if the hole that I've dug is correct. I've dug it a little bit wider than the root ball, and I've dug it to a depth where the pot is actually sticking up maybe 3 or 4 inches above the original grade. That's very important with a Japanese maple. We don't want to end up with it below the soil grade in time. And as we mulch over the years and we build mulch up, we definitely don't want this plant buried in time. So we want to keep it where it's going to be mounded up. I've got videos in the description of this video for planting in clay or sand soils, any kind of shrub or tree. I happen to have a very thick clay soil in my yard, and I use pine bark soil conditioner, which I'll show you now. I'm just going to pour this pine bark soil conditioner around the soil that I pulled out of this hole, and to the point where I have about 50% clay and 50% pine bark. Okay, I'm going to take the tree back out of the hole here and bend it over and hit the side of it. I'll knock my shovel over. Hit the side of it like this to loosen it up, and then we can just easily slide it out of the container. Normally maples are very aggressive rooting, and this would be very root bound, but this is a newly potted plant and it has very light roots on it. So I'm just going to lightly get those to stop circling and then drop this plant in the hole like this, and I'll give you a close-up view of this. Here's our tree where we've taken it out of the pot and put it into the hole, and I've got the shovel from one side of this hole to the other, and you can see this tree is up about 3 inches above that grade, and these roots are all loose and ready to go. We'll take our shovel and just kind of mix this bark into this clay, but you can see how I have this red clay here, and this bark right here will do a good job when it's incorporated into that clay of keeping that clay from recompacting. It's actually what this plant is actually being grown in, as a pine bark and sand mix. So it kind of replicates that, what it had going on in a nursery setting. The main thing you need to know on Japanese maples, and this would be true of any grafted tree, is know where the graft is. This one's grafted very, very low. This tree is attached to another root system right here. When they were both very small, this tree was cut off, and this red maple, this Bloodgood Japanese maple, was attached to it right there. I definitely cannot bury that in any way, shape, or form, or ever put mulch on it or anything. That's why I'm leaving it up so high, so that I can put my mulch back into place, which I'm using pine straw, and then I'll pull it back from this base. Sometimes the grafts on Japanese maples will be higher, there'll be mid grafts and even high grafts on these, and you wouldn't have to worry about it as much, but definitely on this one, this graft is right at the soil line, so I'm very concerned about that in the future, and that's why I'm leaving it up so high. So like I say, I'm just going to chop this bark into this clay soil and just slowly feed it into the hole like this. Just keep going around in a circle to do this. We just want to build up a slope from that original grade as we do it, but we definitely want to get this bark very incorporated into this clay soil. Then I'll tamp on this as I go. I'd probably like to straighten this up a little bit more. It's leaning toward the road a little bit. I didn't really do a very good job of putting my eye on that, but if you see, if I can stick the shovel down in there alongside of it and lift it up like that, then pack some soil around this end, and that's now fixed. Just like that. I've still got a lot of chunks in this clay. It's really hard to break up all of it to get it all well incorporated. You'll see me just kick the soil around this tree as I go and tamp it down. We want to get most of the air pockets out of this as we come around, and then we want to uncover the top of that root ball where we kick soil on top of it. let's clear this off like that. All right, I like that a lot. What I'll do in terms of watering it is I'll actually go ahead and put my pine straw back around the tree like this. I'm gonna need another bale at some point to finish off this job. Actually need to re-pine straw my whole yard at this point. Again, we don't want it up against the tree. And I'm gonna go back in here with my hand and clean that away, just like we talked about. So here we go, here's the base of this tree, and I've got it completely cleared out. I can still see the top of that soil. This graft is not covered. This tree is mounded up probably 4 inches higher than where that shovel is sitting right there, and all the way around it, it'll shed water. I'm gonna bring a water hose over here and just put it on a slow trickle at the base of this tree and allow the water to just absolutely drown the space around it. And then I'm gonna go a long time. I live in an area that gets regular rainfall. We'll get thunderstorms in the summer. I'm actually planting this in the summertime, but I'm not concerned about it. I'll probably end up going at least a week and a half before I water again. I'll come over here, I'll put my finger down in the ground at the base of this tree pretty deep and see if it's still moist. And if it needs water, I'm gonna absolutely drown it again and then forget about it for another week and a half. One other thing about this Japanese maple is I'm in zone 7 and we can't have this tree in full sun all day long. To my left, this direction right here is where the sun's coming up. That's the east. It's gonna come on here, give it plenty of sun, probably till 11 or 12. And to the right here is my house and a large tree, which will put it in the shade in the early afternoon. So that's gonna be the perfect condition for this Japanese maple. If you're in zone 6 or 5, they can take a little more sun than that. If you're in 8, even less than I'm giving it. But they do need some direct sun, so this morning sun is ideal. It'll make sure the foliage retains its color, but it won't get any of that 1 or 2 o'clock in the afternoon sun, which will absolutely just fry these leaves over the course of the summer. So anyway, the main points I want you to take from this are definitely with grafted trees like Japanese maples, do not bury that graft too deep and don't cover it up over time. Always keep an eye on it. Sometimes you can get suckers coming from the tree that's the bottom of the graft. Make sure you get those off quickly. You'll be able to tell because they'll be green foliage instead of purple, and they'll grow very, very quickly. Make sure you get those off very fast if you see those. If this video was helpful, please hit the like button and subscribe to my channel for future videos. Also comment below with any questions you have about Japanese maples. Thanks for watching.